Ladies and gentlemen, it's December 23rd, and to be quite frankly honest, it's almost Christmas. Holy shit, New Year's is like a week and a half away. Christmas Eve is tomorrow. So for fuck's sake, we gotta go out with a bang, right? Tomorrow, for the schedule on the 12 Days of Christmas, tomorrow, which is Christmas Eve, is going to be stream countdown to Christmas Day. I'm pretty sure it'll be around 7 p.m. that we'll start streaming, maybe 6 p.m. Although, if you want to know when we start, join the Discord server. All updates will be on there, or follow me on Instagram and Twitter, yada, yada, yada. And Christmas Day is going to be a very special review that I have in store for you guys. And then the 26th is also going to be a little special too, since we kind of, started this a little late. But anyway, it's very important to understand, more than anything else, that one of the few things that I love about reviewing games is that I can say whatever the fuck I want. And I mean that, seriously. Will I get criticized for saying things that may or may not be accurate? Absolutely. Does it mean that I can't say it? You bet your ass I can. So today it's time to talk about an extension of a game which became a re-release that many of you probably saw coming. The game is called Persona 5 The Royal. It was the most recent installment in the Persona franchise, with the exception of Persona 5 Strikers, which will be coming out in February. And obviously, I got a lot to say about this fucking thing. So, without further ado, here is my personal take on Persona 5 The Royal. But first, let's put a little bit of context over the past few years of the Persona franchise. Persona came to an absolute climax with the release of arguably one of the greatest JRPGs of the decade, Persona 4. Emphasis on arguably. The re-release, Persona 4 Golden, is the top-selling remake of the franchise according to Persona Central. With so much money to spare, Atlus was flying on the golden parachute of the century for years, and then they decided to make another Persona game, Persona 5. Now is where I'm legally obligated to tell you that Persona 5 is one of the best Persona games of all time. And by legally obligated, I mean, yeah, it's a really good fucking game. It's better than Persona 4 and Persona 3, arguably, and it's way better than the first Persona game, although, fun fact, the original Persona game has more overall sales over time than any of the future installments, which... that doesn't make a lot of sense, but fuck it, why not? Because most people listening to this video are probably already understand what Persona 5 is about, instead of talking about the whole game, I only plan on talking about the extension, basically, of Royal. So, for those that were hoping for me to diss the entire game, that's just not going to happen today. Maybe in a future video, possibly, but for now, we're just going to focus on Royal. We're going to focus on the new characters, the story extension itself, what I felt about certain things that were new in the game, and yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say about that. And also, really quick, spoilers ahead. There are going to be a lot of spoilers because I'm going to go into depth a little bit as to what exactly I like and dislike about the extension, which is definitely going to put a lot of different things on the spotlight, so just be prepared for that.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Andale!
I've actually been planning on doing this for a while now, since I completed the Royal section of the game a few weeks ago, so the game is still fresh in my mind. To start with, the game somehow looks 10 times better on the Royal version than in the vanilla version of the game. And I know for a fact that all the developers truly did was turn up the saturation and re-release the game. However, that doesn't make it look any less amazing. Even the cutscenes in this game are absolutely stunning in the Royal. There's tons of new dialogue too. I've played and beaten this game multiple times, and at this point, it's really only to hear the new dialogues that Atlus put in the game. They're more of a fan service than anything else, but it's still fun to listen to nonetheless. Lastly, from all the small things I noticed about the game, it has its own achievement progress system in the Thieves' Den, and it also has a new achievement system for PlayStation, so if you figured that they were just going to port over the achievements from Persona 5 into Royal, that really isn't the case. The achievements are, I guess you could say, easier, especially the fusion failure, which isn't an achievement, but, or is it? I really don't know. I think it's doing something wrong during a fusion alarm, but it's a lot easier to get 100% in this game than it was in the original, especially if you're not much of a completionist, because there is no achievement for something like, say, completing the compendium or something like that. So it's a little easier. A lot easier, actually. For those who don't know what the Thieves' Den is, it's a new edition that's like a customizable place to do whatever you want. You can customize, change skins, and buy things you unlock from playing the game with coins that you receive from completing the in-game achievements. It's a pretty cool idea, but I found myself almost never using it, and I feel as though the time spent creating that probably should have gone to better development over the attached aftermath story to the original plot. I hate to admit it, but I do have some problems with the story revolving around Royal and the extension in itself. I have problems with the original story as well, but that's for a different video for a different day. So here's what I really didn't like about Persona 5 The Royal's plot. My first major complaint comes in the form of my disliking for Sumire. Did I mention that spoilers are ahead? I honestly just couldn't find it within myself to connect with Sumire to the rest of the cast. And it's a shame because she's an amazing concept that was just torn to shreds. For those who don't know, Kasumi isn't her real name, as it's her sister's name, who, long story short, died in a major car accident. Not that important, but it is important to understand that that car accident caused Sumire, which is her actual name, to change into Kasumi because, again, long story short, she just couldn't handle the grief of, from her perspective, killing her sister. Makes sense. Great story, and you can connect it to the cesspool that is Shin Megami Tensei, and I could kind of connect her awakening with Cendrillon, which is by far one of the best Persona names I've ever seen. The issue lies in Sumire's tough road to recovery from the deep loss of her most dedicated fan and sibling who loved her and was her inspiration that took a whopping 3 fucking days to overcome. God damn, how the hell does she take such a small amount of time to get over the death of her sister and being Sumire? Did she really have grief over her sister's death, or did she have a crippling addiction to porn? I mean, God, for fuck's sake, none of the process made any sense as to why she went from being from Kasumi to Sumire and her grief in between it. But even worse, she unlocks an extra 5 confidant levels, which is supposed to be like her transition phase, basically, from Kasumi back to Sumire. So it takes a staggering 8 fucking days for her to get over the grief of her sister. So 2 things: either the game rushed Sumire's resolution plot, or she really fucking killed her sister.
I'm okay. Fuck this. I'm on Blog TV with my fucking hands up. I'm not starting my fucking self. You fucking stupid bitch. This stupid fucking justice, all fucking righteous fucking...
God, I fucking hate Akechi. If we're talking about Akechi in the context of the vanilla version of Persona 5, I would say he's absolutely the best character in the fucking game. He's the most developed with an engaging story, climax, and resolution where he unfortunately dies. Or does he? Yeah, Atlus took a page out of the Mortal Kombat movie from '95 and decided to, instead of letting Akechi live out the rest of his life in a happy ending, revive him. Now, by all means, the plot of Akechi's death and life in Royal's extension is actually really good, and it provides a huge ultimatum toward the end of the story. I swear I don't have a slur. I swear to God I don't have a slur. It provides a huge ultimatum toward the end of the story when you figure out that Maruki's reality, again, spoiler alert, is the reason why Akechi is alive, and you have to kind of figure, well, do you want to stay in a reality where Akechi's alive? For those making those Rule 34s with Akechi and Joker, I swear to fucking God, do not answer that question. For the love of fuck, please don't answer that question. Or do you accept the real reality where he, quote unquote, dies? It's a good story, but man, it has its it has its holes. What really grinds my fucking gears about Akechi in this extension, however, is the voice acting. Have you ever heard somebody in person or in a movie who sounds evil? Not creepy or psychotic, just pure evil. That was Akechi. He just sounded too fucking evil. The whole point of bringing him back was to outline that he was still willing to be a good guy in order to stop Maruki from wholly changing reality, but throughout the entire extension, he sounds like he's about to chop someone's head off like he's Robespierre or the fucking Queen from Alice in Wonderland. Let me clarify a little bit. What I mean is that I completely understand the context of Akechi's speech pattern. He's basically like an anti-hero. That I can get behind. The issue becomes the general tone of his speech. It just made me believe that he really just didn't give a shit, and the hurt that we're supposed to feel when the ultimatum finally does reach its climax, it doesn't really give you much to feel because he's an anti-hero, and that kind of gives you this like mentality of, well shit, I mean, it sucks that he's gonna die, but fuck me, he sounded like a villain this whole fucking time. And I feel like that was just a voice acting issue more than anything else, but it still was an issue nonetheless. I mean, like, I didn't even when he even when the group realized he was gone, you could not help but feel that emotion of like, and like a clarity moment, just like, what the fuck why should I care about this shit? He basically was still a villain for all I cared. And yes, he was a good guy, we know that, but the context to which they provide it with his tone is really fucking annoying, because all you can think about over and over is how he still sounds like he wants to fucking murder Joker.
In there, my earpiece and a calculator.
There was no earpiece in there, ma'am.
I love it.
I have no issues with Maruki. Instead, I take issue with the fact that this poor fucking counselor who wanted to help people carried this extension like LeBron did the Cavaliers, or like I did with that one video I made about Halloween or something. I don't really remember. This is one of the biggest tragedies of the 21st century, and I, frankly, am appalled by it. Honestly, I have nothing bad to say about Maruki in the story that revolves him. It was beautifully executed, and although his palace wasn't amazing, it definitely was a better palace than most of the other palaces in the game. So I would definitely put it up there with Shido's palace, like probably above Shido's palace, but below Sai's palace, because you know Sai's palace will always be the best fucking palace of all time, and Whims of Fate is literally the only thing that needs to be said about that. But generally speaking, Maruki was a fucking beautifully executed character for sure, and I give Atlas huge props on that one. Would I recommend buying Royal for Christmas? Of course. Considering all the issues that I have with the game, I wouldn't expect to be wowed by this extension, but I will say that the story definitely is great, with the exception of Sumire. The confidants are absolutely fucking loaded. Sumire's confidant increases your HP, Maruki increases your overall SP, and Akechi's not bad. The voice acting, although pretty fucking terrible sounding and not really making a lot of sense to his anti-hero status, is still on par with the rest of the fucking game. And the end is absolutely fucking amazing, with the glaring exception of the end cutscene. Earlier in this video, I brought up Persona 4 and it being an amazing game. Well, Persona 4 came out with a re-release called Golden, as I mentioned, that is the best-selling title in the re-release section of Persona. But I would argue that Royal does give it a run for its money. With an actual story extension and not just an extra palace and port to PC, I would say Royal is way better than Golden. But does that dictate a good score? Google says 95% of players liked Royal, Metacritic gave it the same score percentage, Eurogamer gave it a 3 out of 5, and IGN gave it a fucking whopping 10 out of 10. So I have to give it a great score, right? Well, no, actually. Sumire was completely botched, Akechi was confusing at best, and Maruki was the only good confidant extension that carried the fucking story. I mean, I have to be honest with you, the story felt like a flat add-on to the rest of the game, and it wasn't incorporated as well as it could have been. But all that being said, it doesn't make it any less interesting, and it adds on this really fucking amazing question of what's good and what's bad as Maruki's palace basically isn't a battle of, you know, the good Phantom Thieves and the evil Shido. It's really a battle between the person, the player, and what they believe is best for society, and what Maruki believes is best for society. Which one is going to be overcame? Which is why you have the option to pick between choosing their reality and not choosing their reality. It's a great way of handling an extension, and to be honest with you, it really does fucking carry the story. Maruki's one of the best characters in the fucking game, and I think that after the Royal extension, my personal favorite was supposed to be Akechi. Not anymore. Akechi, move to second and go fuck yourself, because Maruki is number one as far as I'm concerned now, and he fucking carried this game, and I mean carried. His back is broken from the amount of fucking carrying he did, and he deserves the title of hardest worker ever. So obviously, if I had to give it a score, I would probably say out of 10, maybe like a 7.5 or an 8. It's not as good as Persona 5. 5, although was the original story and therefore becomes more boring now that the re-release is out, still was a lot more consistent in its attempt to try and be the best Persona game ever, which, yeah, I would probably agree that it is, or at least somewhat good. It's hard to really tell a lot of the time, but then again, Persona 5 had what, like 5 years to fucking develop itself, whereas Royal came out in 2019, which was only 2 years after 5 came out. So, I don't know. I guess it really depends on the type of person. If you watch this video because you're like, I don't know if I want to buy this game or not for Christmas, by all fucking means, buy it. It's a great game to play. You're going to get a little upset with some of the things, like the things that I probably brought up. But even that, I mean, frankly, I had so much fun, and I fucking grinded this game. I think it's like 150 or 200 plus hours of content on Royal. I've lost a lot of fucking friends. But anyway, that concludes day 10. Wow, we've reached the double digits of our Christmas special. We have one more video, or two more. Well, hold on a minute. Something don't add up here. Whatever. We'll figure it out. We have 2 more videos coming out. We have one more. We have one live stream coming out. That's going to be tomorrow for Christmas Eve. Don't you guys forget it. Keep it in your fucking bookmarks. Whatever you want to fucking do on your calendar, whatever. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like the video, comment your favorite part, and subscribe for more content. And as always, click the bell to get notified of my other Christmas videos. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
You never see it coming.